In today's video, we're going to be going over Idoom, talking about some of the strengths and weaknesses he has, and why he might not be as popular as he used to be. Idoom's a champ who I played a good bit at the 6-star level. I have a 6-star rank 5 Ascended showcased, which is actually one of the most popular videos on my channel, which I find pretty cool. And then I took him to rank 3, and I haven't made that much content on him since then. And obviously the main reason for that is just he's not as powerful a champion as he used to be. And he never really was like a huge standout on release, but there were still quite a few people using him. And yeah, we're going to start off against Winter Soldier here, and this isn't really just to show like how strong his damage can be. I'm using this fight to show you what the Special 3 lockdown cycle looks like. So basically what happens is once you get to a Special 3, the opponent won't be throwing a special attack for the rest of the fight. And that's because once you get that Special 3, you're going to get an Energize, place an Energize on the opponent as well, and then Special 1 to Special Lock them until your aura runs out. And your aura is 24 seconds after the Special 3, and it's paused during special attacks. So it's a pretty lengthy time where the opponent can't drop a special, and you're just going to be gaining a bunch of power, doing a bunch of power burn damage, and you can kill a lot of crap right after that Special 3. Now obviously it's not as good as Dr. Dooms, who is an overtuned champion to begin with, so it's probably for the better that way, because that means that Idoom can actually be a 7-star, but it is pretty useful, and there are definitely going to be matchups where that is awesome to have. So yeah, that wasn't the fastest fight ever, because I was showing you the lockdown cycle rather than just like a plain spam Special 2s until they drop rotation. But another really strong suit of Idoom, and this was much more the case when he first came out, is he took the hardest mutant champion when he released with absolutely no effort. He is meant to be a bishop counter. That is kind of his big role. Mine is unduped. If yours is awakened, he will shut off the ability accuracy of the unblockable, so bishop wouldn't be getting the unblockable there. Otherwise, you have to make sure the shocks aren't on bishop, and he's not doing the overload thing. And so I did mess up a little bit because I didn't have the ability to trigger my aura because he was stun immune, because he was dropping Special 1s, but that's fine because you're going to see the Special 2 right here just rip him apart. And even without the power burn damage, the first Special 2 did a lot of damage anyway. So like that was an 800,000 health pool bishop down in like 40 seconds. That is his tailor-made matchup. That is what he's meant to do, and he absolutely destroys it. It's just the fact that bishop isn't as relevant as a defender anymore, and I think that's kind of where Idoom kind of falls off, because what he was made to do is just kind of in the past counter bishop and counter havoc. That's not really important anymore. You want to be fighting onslaught, you want to be fighting Captain Britain, sometimes Domino, Dust, a couple other mutant defenders that I'm probably forgetting. Mr. Sinister, actually, he is pretty good for Sinister. I do like doing that matchup a lot. And Gentle, he's just kind of whatever for. And probably other mutants that I'm forgetting. But yeah, that's kind of one of his biggest problems, is that he just doesn't fit well with the modern mutant class, because the mutant class now is very different than mutant class in the past. So here, this is a meta where there's a stun reflect node, and you remove it when you inflict a shock, which Idoom does very easily, as you can see, just from his mediums, and then just does a crap ton of damage on the Special 2. And even without the Fury from that node, that APOC would have gotten completely deleted. And we're going to be using that exact same tactic against Sentinel now. So yeah, notice that all these fights are with a little bit of extra attack from the Fury. Nothing too crazy, it's like 40%, but still, he's not going to be killing these defenders as fast in a normal sense. And anyway, Idoom is just kind of unfortunate. A year before Idoom came out was when Nimrod came out, and during the time that Idoom came out, Nimrod was just kind of everywhere, and because of that, a lot of the nodes that Idoom might be good for, especially in like Alliance War, were quote-unquote Nimrod-proofed, to where they would be anti-shock and stuff, and anytime that they Nimrod-proof a node, it just made Idoom much harder to use, because Idoom was trying to do a lot of the same thing that Nimrod did, and it even meant that, like, while he was initially released, he just wasn't as strong as he could have been because of Nimrod being overtuned back then. So it's really unfortunate that that happens and that he just didn't end up being the champion he could have been because of Nimrod, and just because the modern mutant class just isn't the same anymore, because classes have to evolve, and unfortunately that just means some champs have to be stuck in the past, like Idoom. But I don't think any champ gets stuck in the past as much as Idoom did, because I truly think this guy fell off harder than almost any other champ ever has in MCoC, with just how classes have evolved and how they have to make nodes around other overtuned champs and stuff. And to this day, Nimrod still isn't a 7-star because of how overtuned he is. Could he be now? Probably, and I think he will be eventually, but it just, back then, it didn't make sense. So, this is a Yelena from Alliance War, where there's Hazard Shift, Incinerate, and Shock. And I found this pretty cool because Idoom's immunity set is Shock and Incinerate. And that's really awesome because it's an immunity pair that is rather uncommon. You don't see Incinerate and Shock together on too many champs. There's probably like 5 maximum, or somewhere around 5 champs in the game who have those two at once. So I find that really cool. Unique immunity sets are always really nice for stuff like Alliance War. And yeah, as far as like countering Yelena goes, he's fine. Like, he doesn't increase his own attack rating with like a Fury or stuff, so the damage cap doesn't matter too much, but it's just his damage isn't really good enough anyway to warrant it. So like, I wouldn't take him to BGs to fight a Yelena or anything like that. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, but it's cool for like a war setting if there's a node that you need Incinerate and Shock immunity for, or just a couple other nodes where you can definitely use Idoom for Yelena in this kind of game mode, but in BGs it just doesn't make sense. And we are running War Machine pre-fights just to get the cleanse at the start from the node that would place an armor break and Fate Seal and Heal Block on me, or a Power Lock. So that's just helping to bypass that real quick. But yeah, the fight still worked, and I thought it was pretty cool. But like, as far as the strengths and weaknesses of Idoom, well, not really weaknesses, I don't usually put that in the graphic, but the strengths is he's got a really cool unique immunity pairing. Like I said, you don't see Shock and Incinerate together too much, and he has a very cool special lock rotation. It's not always the most practical thing out there, but it is still strong, and as long as like Doom isn't a 7-star, it's still going to be you know, something that you might go back to. Can they help your account? Maybe. I don't think he's a champion you need to completely write off, but I don't think he's a champion you should scramble around to rank either. His damage just doesn't feel very good, even in comparison to champions released in the same year as him. And so, I don't know. There's not too many benefits from ranking Idoom, but he's not like a really bad champion with like nothing, because the immunity set is really good, and the special lock rotation is pretty good in some scenarios. So anyway, that's my video on Idoom. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.